Okay, so we're here to talk about how the very first song in a collaborative effort from our entire worship and arts ministry came to be. And Johnny, as I understand it, that came out of some personal devotional time as you were poring over Psalm 145. Can you tell us how all this was born?
So as I was studying in devotional one day, I was reading through Psalm 145, and in Psalm 145, you just read all of these great characteristics and these truths about who God is, and the psalmist is just joyful because he gets to be in relationship with that God, and says everybody knows how great you are, and he's singing in the middle of all this. And I was just stricken by that, and I thought, well, I'll just kind of hijack these words and put a more modern twist on it, something that we can all say together. And I was going back through voice memos that I'd recorded over the last few years, and found this melody that had no words and felt like "Your Name is Famous" just fit perfectly on this melody line. And literally, the melody was written a year before the lyrics ever came. But it's kind of like God was planting seeds for this is going to work out, and this is going to be something that everybody can grab a hold of and say together. And you don't know it yet, but I'm working it all out. So it's cool how all that came together.
That's cool. One of the things y'all know we do anytime we select a song that we want to allow our congregation to sing to God is we begin to think about, okay, is there anybody or multiple people that can own this? Does it fit who they are in their walk with Christ, but also does it fit their voice? So talk about any light bulbs go on in the middle of all that.
The moment that I knew that I wanted it to be either a Libby or a Haley song, for whatever reason, the melody towards the back half of the chorus, "When I remember your rich love for me," it just kind of it takes you on this little bit of a roller coaster. It kind of goes over this hill, and it just felt like in Libby's voice, it's just got this really clear tone, and I felt like it really needed that to top that hill well. And Haley's the queen of runs, and so I knew that she could handle that really well. So I felt like it needed to be more in their range than it did in my range, or Andy's range, or Libby's range, or your range. It just seemed like it really fit the tone of their two voices. And
Sure.
Yeah, so that line specifically is when I kind of knew that's the direction I wanted it to go.
Joey, you got to be a part of all of this, and you got involved pretty quickly on. Would you talk about how you jumped in with this idea?
Yeah, you came to my office one day. He's like, "Hey, I got this song. I want to show you and just kind of get your thoughts on it." One of the first ideas that I had was in the chords of the song. So you started off like doing, we're talking Nashville numbers, a 4 to a 5, 6 minor 5. And I was like, why don't we throw what's called a flat 7 in there for those who don't know. So it's like, you want to sing it for me?
Oh, yeah. Let's see, what are the lyrics that I wrote? From the rolling plains to the skies above, all the earth repeats your praise. The bridge is meant to kind of reframe the rest of the song. It's meant to kind of give the lyrics that you've already sang a new meaning, especially when you go back to the chorus. And I couldn't figure out what the paradigm shift was. And I kind of knew what I wanted to say, but not really. I knew I wanted to say there's not enough words to describe how great the Lord is, and there's not enough people ever in all the span of time to say enough good things. But I couldn't figure out how to say that concisely, and then what the shift was going to be. And so you had a great idea.
Yeah. So whenever we were talking about that, a song popped in mind, as well as a scripture from Revelation song, and just that one line, "Holy, holy, holy." That one line in there, I was just kind of like, okay, but even though like what we're trying to say is God is famous, God is great, and like what we can't give enough for how good He is to us. Like, so, okay, no matter how many times we cry holy, it's still never going to actually match how glorious He actually is. And so that's kind of where I had that thought coming to mind, and then we just kind of made the lyrics fit into the rest of that.
I got involved in the process One of our values is, we want to make sure that what we sing is true, first of all, and something that makes sense for our congregation to say, depending on what's going on at the time. And so I got the privilege of seeing the lyrics and hearing the scratch vocal at the same time. And as I listened to it and worked through it, I sort of had this idea that, hey, this bridge, the old bridge, feels like a third verse to me. It didn't do, I didn't think what Johnny was talking about that a bridge is supposed to do, but we're all about trying to be different. But I just thought, hey, what if we took this, made it a verse, and then do the new bridge, which is the way it came out. And to me, it feels like all of a sudden that third verse says, this is the summary of what we're supposed to be about if we're really on mission to make God famous. And it seemed to fit really, really well together. James, you got involved when in this process, and it was a fulfillment of yet another one of our values to get as many people involved as possible. But when on the course of all this did you jump in?
Right. So, I mean, we are incredibly blessed. You already know this, to have the people that we have in our ministry, the musicians, the talent that's there in the band, and then also as things started moving a lot faster, and we knew that something was going on. Johnny sent me the scratch track and said, "Give us some wins," and I was working on it for a while. Brought Johnny in to listen to it, and he liked it okay. And he liked the major ninth stuff that I was doing in there. But then we got to the chorus, and he kind of hated it. But the thing is, I hated it too.
Creative differences. Or creative similarity.
But it's just such a pleasure to be able to just throw my little 2 cents in to the effort that y'all were working on. So glad that we were able to make it happen.
We decided, hey, wouldn't it be great if we could record this? You mentioned that. And by the way, it can be found on Spotify, iTunes. Look for Famous, and also include the words Gather LBK, all no spaces, all one word, Gather LBK. And you can find that there. But anything unique, something that would stand out in the midst of the recording process that talks about who we are, maybe including gifts and abilities, all that kind of stuff?
Well, we had a massive opportunity in the middle of quarantine and pandemic, and we were trying to figure out how do we minister to people who are at home in a creative way. You probably saw that we were coming out with videos every Tuesday there for a while. That was just some covers of some very encouraging songs, or maybe a song that we were going to introduce on a Sunday morning sometime soon. And in the middle of creating this playlist called the Living Room Sessions, we had written the song a week before we were set to, it was already on the schedule to shoot these videos before the song was written. And I decided I wanted to get this one in real quick. So I sent voice memos to all the band guys and the vocalists, and I said, learn this as best you can, come with ideas. And Haley sings on the Living Room Sessions version, and it's a more unplugged kind of version than what we normally do. And she came with this hum lick that I don't know if it was spontaneous or if it was, maybe she came with it planned. I don't know. She's just got talent everywhere. And she did this hum thing. And in the living room, we're making so much noise you can't even hear her. So I had no idea what was going on. I just knew she was over there singing. And we get the recording back that Joey mixed, and I heard this, and there was another nuance that she added on the final chorus that we didn't hear in the room, but Joey picked up on the recording. And she just brought a whole new life to this thing. And so we kept some of those licks in the studio version. And then Libby comes in, and she adds her personal experience from the time that she spent with the song. She's developed a different kind of flavor to add to the song too. And because we recorded it with our band, Joey's playing electric and Davis is playing electric, Brian's playing drums, Jeff is playing percussion, David Hahn and James Robertson are playing acoustic, and I'm playing keyboards, Scott's playing bass. It it's all us, and the harmony vocals are Ken and Andy and me and Carly and Haley, and then of course Libby singing lead. And it's just a beautiful picture of our whole team getting to have their own input on this song that's kind of becoming bigger than our church, which is really cool. But it just came from everybody spending time with this song that we knew we wanted to put a lot of effort and energy into. And no.
So as we have spent time with this, our heartbeat has been, will continue to be that as people get to worship with the song, which is more important to us than just listening to it, but allow you to be led in worship, that it will allow us to become the worshipers God wants us to be, which is all about everything we do, think, and say, giving glory to Him 168 hours a week. We talk about that all the time. And that as we do that, as we are being transformed by being those kinds of worshipers, then that, along with all of creation, we get to join together, makes God famous, or maybe even more famous than He is today, which is our hope and goal, which is what the song went to. Anything we left out that we ought to include?
Well, I mean, I guess we can include it. Like, part of the fun part of the recording process too is Brian actually recorded the drums at the church.
Yeah.
And then we just brought home all the files. Actually, Brian and Jeff both recorded their parts in the worship center.
Yeah.
And then brought those files home, and then everybody else came over to my house in a bedroom that I've converted into a little studio room, and recorded the rest of the parts, and then that's what brought the song out of a worship center in a bedroom.
Our God is famous, and you can't contain it. The good news about all that He's accomplishing is it's gonna escape the walls of the church, and it's going to spread everywhere.
That's good.
Anywhere that our feet are on mission. I mean, that's our mantra, and that song just it's taken off in the community, and can't wait to see how God uses it to continue to glorify His name.
Absolutely,
it's a privilege to be a part of that.
And that's one of the beautiful things about being involved, using whatever God gives us to His glory, is just getting to see what He does with it. And hopefully this will be a really cool thing that we can talk about 100 years from now. Well, y'all can.
Maybe.
Ready?
Yeah.
1, 2. Your name is famous, known for mercy, known for grace. Your people can't contain it, spreading the news to every place. When I remember your rich love for me, God, what can I do but sing? There's no end to your greatness. Your name is famous.
My lungs were filled till the seams were torn. Oh, my praise is not enough for your righteous heart and your patient hand. Oh, my praise is not enough. Your name is famous, known for mercy, known for grace. People can't contain it, spreading the news to every place. I remember your rich love for me. God, what can I do but sing? There's no end to your greatness. Your name is famous. Yeah. So with every generation, every race and every nation, in eternal exaltation, sing to you, crying holy, holy, holy. We can never match your glory. Still our lives will tell the story of your great work. When my feet are set, I'll announce your love. I'll do all in praise of you. So with open hands, prepared to act, I'll do all in praise of you. Your name is famous, known for mercy, known for grace. People can't contain it, spreading the news to every place. And I remember your rich love for me. God, what can I do but sing?